Our problem is we don't have enough people who have global roles. So I think the first requirement is for people to have global roles, have global experience. That is the most important thing. And if you are a company that has global roles, then you're well on your way. The second thing is, what is the mindset that people have? You may have a global role, but if you're closed, if you're not open to reinventing yourself, if you're not open to being comfortable with ambiguity, to being comfortable with people who think differently from you, then you have a problem. So I would say it's a combination of the sheer existence of roles and people having the opportunity to take on global positions and the mindset with which they look at things. Then a very small part is having a familiarity with the culture and the history and the norms of the society. I think that part is handleable, but it's the first two, and especially the second one, because I take it that you're talking about a global company and they would have global roles. It's the attitude and the mindset that people have. Are they open? Are they comfortable with ambiguity? Are they comfortable and accept that it's quite okay and not a problem if people who you're dealing with think differently? Humongously. You see, we were very much an industrial age command and control kind of a setup. And we have now evolved or morphed into a sort of a VUCA company where people are encouraged to think differently, people are encouraged to experiment, try out new things, question sacred cows if you like, and generally move from being an expert who goes in and knows the solution to being a person who works with people, asks the right questions, and then co-creates answers and is willing to accept the fact that the answers that he comes up with could be wrong and therefore can change. So it's this big shift in the mindset where the focus now is on using the whole mind, which is a combination of the left brain and the right brain, on being a multiplier of energy and engagement with the team, on knowing how to manage fear and leverage failure, so there's a lot of experimentation, on being mindful, which means being open to possibilities, and most of all, a huge amount of focus on trust. And for us, trust is you need to have some technical competency, but more than that, we stress authenticity. So it's these 5 traits, and I'll just repeat them for you: the ability to use the whole mind, to be a multiplier, to know how to manage fear and leverage failure, to be mindful, and finally to be able to generate trust. These 5 behaviors are something that we are encouraging people to actively practice in their daily lives. And I don't think this particular enunciation of 5 behaviors was there earlier. It was there, it existed in some people, but now we are sort of looking for it actively. It's a mix of 2 things. We of course have in place processes, metrics and systems, but we are urging people to demonstrate this behavior, leaders to demonstrate, and therefore by people looking up and emulating leadership or seeing role models who are acting out these 5 behaviors, that in turn with the processes and systems, and I can go into some detail if you're interested, is what we are hoping will create this cultural change. In fact, we have actually said that our core purpose is to challenge conventional thinking and to innovatively use all our resources to drive positive change in the lives of our stakeholders and communities across the globe, to enable them to rise. Right? So the focus is do good business, but do it in such a way that it drives positive change. And therefore the choice of businesses, the choice of people, what we are looking for, is all derived from this core purpose. And this is a fundamental shift. You're almost sort of putting culture center stage. We want to be competitive, we want to have sustain business outperformance in our businesses, but we want to do that on the foundation of a cultural transformation that essentially sits on three views of the world, or three attitudes which we call the RISE pillars, which is accept no limits, alternative thinking, and driving positive change. There is an active recognition of the fact that management is both science and art. Management is as much about the left brain of logic, rationality, reason, as it is about intuition, empathy, connection. So I see a lot of opposites being combined in the approach. Well, opposites the way it was looked at 30, 40 years ago. There was too much of either or. And now we are moving, if you like, from the tyranny of either or to the power of and. And I see a lot more of integration, a lot more of a holistic approach. This morning I was listening to Gillian Tett of the Financial Times, and she was talking about her latest book called Silos. And basically her theme was that there is too much of compartmentalization still in organizations of any kind, not only business. And that, she said, is a very dangerous thing to do. In the short term, compartmentalization and focus leads to efficiency. But in the longer term, she argued that this efficiency could become a huge inefficiency. And therefore, she was making a case for integration and a holistic approach. And I see that, at least compared to the either-or kind of world that I had grown up in, that is a fundamental shift that is taking place.